Previously in Warbird Showdown. We got our finalists from the bombers in the first two episodes. Today we're moving on to the fighters category and we'll explore the allied section. In tomorrow's video, we'll continue with the Axis side and find the best contestants who will proceed to the next round. But before that, I'll quickly note that the interceptor category has now been fully integrated into the fighters.
So without further delay, let's start.
This is Warbird Showdown, the ultimate aircraft of World War II. The United States produced an impressive array of fighters during World War II, each one contributing uniquely to the Allied victory. However, in this series I can only feature the most important ones. So planes such as the P39 era Cobra or the P40 Warhawk will be left out of today's video because they're simply overshadowed by other contenders. So let's start strong with the P51 Mustang. Initially designed as a medium altitude fighter, it became legendary after being equipped with the Rolls-Royce Merlin engine, which gave it a top speed of around 700 km per hour and a climb rate of 18 meters per second, although it varied between versions. However, the Mustang's turn rate and roll rate only excelled at a certain altitude. It was armed with 650 caliber machine guns, and its long range allowed it to escort bombers deep into enemy territory, a role in which it excelled. The Mustang's contribution to the success of Allied bombing campaigns in Europe cannot be overstated. It was the fighter that broke the Luftwaffe's back, securing air superiority for the Allies. Next, we have the P47 Thunderbolt, a massive and rugged fighter designed to excel in high-altitude combat and ground attack roles. It reached speeds of 700 km per hour just like the Mustang, with a slower climb rate of about 15 meters per second. While its turn rate was also slower than the P51's, its roll rate was generally better. Moreover, the P47's ruggedness made up for any shortcomings in maneuverability. It was armed with no less than 8 50 caliber machine guns, making it one of the most heavily armed fighters of the war, and could carry a variety of bombs and rockets. The P47 was particularly feared for its ground attack capabilities during the Allied advance across Europe. Its ability to absorb immense damage and keep flying made it a favorite among pilots who needed a reliable aircraft that could bring them back home. Moving on to the Navy, the F4U Corsair quickly became a legend in the Pacific theatre. With a top speed of 717 km per hour and a climb rate of 18 meters per second, the Corsair was one of the fastest fighters of the war. Its turn rate was also good, but its large wings slightly affected its roll rate, making it a bit less responsive in tight maneuvers. Armed with 650 caliber machine guns and capable of carrying a considerable payload, the Corsair was versatile in both air-to-air combat and ground attack roles. Its ability to operate from aircraft carriers gave the US Navy a powerful tool for the supporting amphibious operations across the Pacific. The Corsair earned the nickname Whistling Death from Japanese pilots who learned to fear its presence in the skies. The F6F Hellcat, another Navy fighter, was designed to dominate the skies over the Pacific and to be easy to fly and maintain. It reached speeds of 647 km per hour with a maximum climb rate of 16 meters per second. Its turn rate was good for its size, and it had a very responsive roll rate, making it a highly effective dogfighter. The Hellcat was armed with 650 caliber machine guns and could carry bombs and rockets, giving it versatility in both air combat and ground attack roles. The Hellcat's most notable feat was its overwhelming success against Japanese aircraft, achieving a kill-to-loss ratio of over 19-1. This remarkable performance made the Hellcat the most successful naval fighter of the war. Lastly, we have the P38 Lightning, an innovative fighter with a unique twin-boom design that set it apart from all other aircraft of the era. The P38 could reach a top speed of 666 km per hour, and in its best versions had a climb rate of 19 meters per second. Despite its larger size, it had good turn and roll rates, making it more than a capable aircraft in the right hands. The Lightning was armed with 450 caliber machine guns and a single 20mm cannon, all concentrated in its nose, allowing it to deliver a devastating amount of firepower with pinpoint accuracy. It gained fame for its role in the interception and shooting down of Admiral Isoroku Yamamoto, the architect of the Pearl Harbor attack. This mission struck a significant blow to Japanese morale.
With so many US fighters, picking the winner is no easy task. What I'm about to say might be a bit controversial, but only one of these fighters was fast, powerful, versatile, and safe to fly. With this one, I'm going to have to listen to the very pilots themselves and crown the sadly underrated P47 Thunderbolt as our champion.
Now it's time for Great Britain. The Royal Air Force produced some of the most iconic fighters in history, each playing a crucial role in defending the nation. Up first we have the Supermarine Spitfire, the most famous British aircraft of all time. This elegant fighter became synonymous with the Battle of Britain. The Spitfire's role as a short-range, high-performance fighter made it the backbone of the RAF during the early years of the war. The Spitfire performed with a top speed of 660 km per hour and an astonishingly high climb rate of 24 meters per second in its best versions, thanks to its perfectly elliptical wing designed by R.J. Mitchell. Its decent roll rate and impeccable turn rate made it outmaneuver any other fighter of the war in a dogfight. Most Spitfires were equipped with two 20mm Hispano cannons and 4 light caliber machine guns, and served in nearly every theatre of the war, being frequently upgraded to counter the latest Axis designs. On the other hand, the Hawker Tempest was the final form of the Hurricane and Typhoon fighters, emerging as one of the fastest and most potent planes of the war. With a top speed of 711 km per hour and an incredible climb rate of 23 meters per second, the Tempest was not only fast, but could also reach high altitudes quickly, allowing it to take on the Luftwaffe's new jet and rocket-powered aircraft. Its turn rate was great for such a powerful machine, while its roll rate was pretty decent. Armed with 4 20mm cannons, it delivered devastating firepower, mainly used to engage V-1 flying bombs or conduct ground attack missions. That said, it only entered service in the last years of the war and therefore wasn't used as much.
When deciding the champion though, you need to look for experience and accomplishments. This is why I'm obviously choosing the Spitfire as the best World War II British fighter.
And finally, it's time for the Soviet Union, which developed some formidable fighters in hopes of surviving against the Luftwaffe during World War II. To start, we have the Yakovlev Yak-3, a lightweight fighter that earned a reputation as one of the finest aircraft to emerge from the Eastern Front. While its twin, the Yak-9, was also a successful fighter, the Yak-3 was a much faster and agile plane, earning its spot as one of the most respected fighters of the war. The Yak-3 had a top speed of 655 km per hour and reached a climb rate of 20 meters per second. Its turn rate was exceptional, allowing it to outturn any German fighter in a dogfight, and its roll rate was also highly responsive. The Yak-3 was armed with a 20mm cannon and two 12.7mm machine guns, packing enough punch to take down enemy aircraft with precision. It was a key player in the Soviet advance towards Berlin, demonstrating that Soviet engineering was no joke. At last, the Lavochkin La-7 was another Soviet fighter that made a significant impact in the latter stages of the war. The La-7 held a top speed of 661 km per hour and a climb rate of about 18 meters per second at maximum, making it one of the fastest fighters on the Eastern Front. Its turn rate and roll rate were good, but the aircraft was slightly less agile than the Yak-3. The La-7 was armed with two 20mm cannons and proved itself in both dogfights and ground attack missions. One of its most notable achievements was the success of Soviet ace Ivan Kozydub, who flew the La-7 to become the Allies' highest scoring fighter pilot of the war, with 62 confirmed kills.
Both aircraft were excellent, but the Yak-3's agility made it the better fighter, and with that, the best World War II fighter of the Soviet Union.
We've got our winners from today. These are the best fighters from the Allied powers who will move on to the next round. In part 2, we'll look for the fighting champions of the Axis powers and finish our list of contenders.
So stay tuned and have a fly-tastic day.